My stepfather and his children always hated me, but after he discovered that I had inherited my late father's property, he tried to kick me out of the house. All right, buckle up, because this is going to be a long one. About 3 years ago, things at home started to get a bit weird when my mom, out of nowhere, tells me she's dating someone new. His name's Derek, and from the first time I met the guy, I could tell something was off. He had this vibe like he was always sizing me up, trying to figure out if I was friend or foe. I was just 13 at the time, so it felt really strange having some guy I don't know trying to insert himself into our lives. Let me paint you a picture. My mom and dad hadn't been in love for who knows how long. They decided to split when I was just a little kid, but never officially divorced. They thought it'd be better for me if they both stayed under the same roof, at least until I was older. So, they were like roommates who just happened to share a kid. To the outside world, it looked like we were just one big happy family. But inside, it was anything but. Every once in a while, my dad or mom would try dating other people, but it never went well. I remember doing everything I could to sabotage their dates because deep down, I just wanted them to get back together. Yeah, I know, pretty childish, right? But I was a kid who wanted his parents to be like everyone else's. Whenever someone new came into the picture, I'd be the first to throw a fit, hoping it would scare them off. Enter Derek. The guy was different. He had a daughter who was 15 and a son who was 18, and right from the start, none of us got along. They looked at me like I was the enemy invading their territory. It didn't help that Derek always took their side over anything, which just added to the tension. My mom thought Derek was the greatest thing since sliced bread, always going on about how understanding and great he was. But to me, he was just this dude who was trying too hard to be something he wasn't. I gotta be honest, my efforts to get rid of him were on a whole new level. I'd be extra annoying, extra loud, and extra everything just to make him think twice about sticking around. But Derek, man, he was tough as nails. He didn't budge. It's like all my tricks that used to work were suddenly useless. He just kept coming back, and my mom was eating it up. Things got real when Derek started talking about moving in with us. My mom was all for it, thinking it was the next logical step. But my dad? He wasn't having any of it. They had made a promise, way back when they decided to split but not divorce, that they would keep living together under the same roof until I was at least 18 for my sake. My dad held my mom to that promise, which really ticked Derek off. You could tell he wanted to just swoop in and play house with my mom, but my dad was the wall he kept crashing into. The tension at home was palpable. Every dinner was like sitting on a powder keg, waiting for someone to light the fuse. Derek and his kids would be on one side, my mom on another, and me and my dad just trying to not get caught in the crossfire. It was messed up. Despite all the drama, Derek did manage to move in eventually. It was after my dad got really sick. He had been in and out of the hospital and things weren't looking great. My mom was torn up about it, and somehow, Derek moving in was supposed to make everything better. I didn't see the logic in it. How was adding more people to the mix going to help anything? Then the bomb dropped. My dad passed away from a heart attack. It was sudden and it knocked the wind out of all of us. I thought maybe, just maybe, it would put things into perspective and make everyone realize that life's too short for all this petty drama. But I was wrong. Not even a month after my dad died, my mom announced she and Derek were getting married. They planned to have a small ceremony with just a few friends and family. To me, it felt rushed. It felt disrespectful. Like, how could she move on so fast? How could she think that bringing Derek even closer into our lives would help me deal with my dad's death? I was a mess, man. I felt like I was losing not just my dad, but my whole family. Derek and his kids didn't make it any easier. They walked around like they owned the place, barely acknowledging that my world had just been turned upside down. I kept my distance, spending more time alone in my room or out with friends, anywhere but home. The real kicker came when we got the call from my dad's lawyer. Turns out my dad had left me pretty much everything. His money, his properties, and a bunch of other stuff I didn't even know about. He had inherited a fortune from some relative years back and never told anyone. Suddenly, I wasn't just the annoying kid in the house. I was the annoying rich kid. Derek's attitude shifted overnight. Any pretense of being the cool, understanding stepdad vanished. Now, I was a threat, a roadblock to whatever plans he had for his new life with my mom. And let me tell you, it felt like war was about to break out at home. So here we are, living in this awkward setup where every day feels like a silent battle. Derek and his kids are officially part of the household, and it's like walking on eggshells all the time. After the will thing came out, Derek's been acting all sweet in front of my mom, but I can tell it's just an act. Behind that smile, there's a guy who's not happy about me being the main heir. Now let's talk about the daily life in this weird blended family. Breakfast is the worst. Imagine sitting at the table, trying to eat while Derek and his kids chat like I'm not even there. They talk about stuff like plans for the house, joking around, and it's like they're the original family and I'm the outsider. My mom tries to get me involved, but it's so forced that it just makes things more uncomfortable. One morning, things got pretty tense. Derek started talking about how we should redo the living room, talking about it like he owned the place. I couldn't help myself. I had to say something. I was like, "Don't you think we should all discuss changes in the house together?" Derek just gave me this look, like I had no business suggesting such a thing. My mom was quick to smooth things over, but it was obvious she was trying to keep the peace without taking sides. As if the mornings weren't rough enough. Let's not forget about coming home after school. I walk in, and most days, Derek's there, in what used to be my dad's chair, acting like he's the man of the house. He's usually talking business on the phone or with his kids about their day. I just head straight to my room. The less I interact, the better. But even from upstairs, I can hear them laughing and talking. It's like they're erasing every trace of my dad, one laugh at a time. Then there's the deal with chores. Derek's got this idea that everyone should pitch in equally, which sounds fair on paper, right? But the way he enforces it, you'd think we were in boot camp. He's got chores scheduled on a fridge calendar, and he checks off everything like some kind of drill sergeant. If I miss even one thing because of homework or just needing a break, he's on my case, claiming I'm not pulling my weight. It feels like he's just looking for ways to criticize me, to prove I don't fit in. And let's not forget the weekends. They're supposed to be a break from the crap of the week, right? Well, not in this house. Derek plans all these family outings, which are more about him showing off to my mom that he can blend our families together. We go to parks or some local events, stuff I used to enjoy. But now, it's all about Derek making a point, showing that he's the new head honcho, and we should all fall in line. One Saturday, this whole blending thing hit a new level of ridiculous. Derek decided we should all volunteer at some community cleanup event. Sounds noble, doesn't it? But the whole day, it was Derek this, Derek that. He was lapping up the praise from other volunteers, acting like Mr. Community Leader, while I was stuck picking up trash, feeling more like an outsider than ever. My mom was there, beaming at Derek, while I just wanted to disappear. But the real kicker is how things are when there's a disagreement. One time his daughter, who's always been a bit of a princess, decided she didn't like where I parked my bike because it was in her space, in the garage. It escalated to her yelling and Derek stepping in, not to calm things down, but to tell me I should be more considerate. Like it was my fault she was flipping out over a bike. This living situation's made my home feel like a place I just sleep and eat in. I spend more time out of the house, at friends' places, or just out walking around than I do at home. I miss how it used to be with my dad. We weren't perfect, but I never felt like I was an intruder in my own home. My mom sees some of this, I think. Every now and then she tries to talk to me about how things are going, asking if I'm okay. I just nod and say it's all good, because what can I really say? That her new husband makes me wish I lived anywhere else. That every day feels like a reminder that my dad's gone and Derek's taken over? No way. That would just start a fight, and honestly, I'm just too tired to fight anymore. It's a mess, really. Living with Derek and his kids feels like I'm in some kind of slow-motion nightmare where everything I used to love about home is being twisted into something I don't recognize. And the worst part? I've got to smile and bear it, because this is still my mom's house too, and I don't want to make her life harder than it already is. So yeah, that's my life now. Stuck in a house with a stepdad who might smile in front of my mom, but definitely doesn't want me around. Just counting the days until I can get out of here, or until something changes. So, life in the step-family circus went from bad to worse. It's like every week there's a new drama that just makes me want to pack up and disappear. But I guess I should start with the big blowout that happened not too long ago, because it really shows what's been brewing under the surface. It all kicked off over something stupid, like it always does, right? Derek's son, let's call him Mark, decided that my gaming console was community property, since it was in the living room. Never mind that I saved up for months to buy it myself. He and his sister started using it whenever they wanted, not even asking me first. I let it slide for a bit because I didn't want to start another fight. But then, I found my controllers all messed up, buttons sticky and stuff. I confronted Mark about it, keeping my cool, just asking him to respect my stuff. Well, he didn't take it too well. Started telling me how I was being selfish, how I should be more generous since we're supposed to be a family. That's when Derek jumped in, backing up his son, of course. He told me that in this house, we share everything and that I needed to stop being so possessive. The argument got heated, and my mom finally stepped in. But instead of backing me up, she sided with Derek, saying I should try to be more understanding. Man, that hurt. It's like suddenly it wasn't our home anymore. It was Derek's rules, Derek's way. This whole mess made me start thinking a lot about how things have been changing around here. Like, Derek's been slowly taking over every part of our lives. He's rearranged the living room, replaced some of my dad's old furniture with his stuff, and it's like he's trying to erase the memory of my dad completely. My room is the only place that still feels like mine, and now even that feels threatened. One night, things got real weird. I was up late, just thinking about all this stuff, and I decided to take a walk around the house. It was quiet. Everyone else was asleep, and I just needed to clear my head. As I'm walking through the living room, I noticed Derek's laptop open on the table. I know I shouldn't have, but curiosity got the better of me. I took a peek. There were emails open about property listings, big expensive places that were way beyond what we could afford. At least that's what I thought. Turns out Derek's been doing pretty well for himself, or at least that's what he wants everyone to think. The emails were to a real estate agent, talking about selling our house and buying a new one, something about needing a fresh start for our new family. I felt sick to my stomach. This was all news to me. No one had said anything about selling the house. This was the house my dad had loved, the house I grew up in. And Derek was planning to sell it like it was just another item to tick off his list. The next day, I brought it up at breakfast. I asked Derek straight up about the emails. You should have seen the look on his face. It was like he'd been caught with his hand in the cookie jar. He stumbled over his words, tried to play it off like it was just options he was looking at, nothing serious. But the cat was out of the bag now. My mom was shocked. She hadn't known about any of this either. There was this huge argument, voices raised, Derek trying to justify himself, my mom trying to understand why he'd go behind her back. I just sat there, watching this all go down, feeling a mix of anger and sadness. It was clear Derek had plans that didn't include us, or at least not me. That fight seemed to open my mom's eyes a bit. She's been a bit more cautious around Derek since then, asking him more questions, keeping a closer eye on what he does. I don't know if it'll change anything in the long run, but at least she's starting to see that Derek might not be the perfect guy she thought he was. Since then, the atmosphere at home has been tense. Derek knows I don't trust him, and I know he's not happy about me snooping around. It's like an unspoken war now. We avoid each other as much as possible, and when we do have to interact, it's short and to the point. No more fake smiles, no more pretending we're some happy family. I've started to spend even more time out of the house, staying over at friends' places whenever I can. I just can't stand being around Derek, knowing he's planning to uproot everything just for his own benefit, and my relationship with my mom, it's complicated. I'm glad she's starting to see through Derek, but there's a lot of damage there, a lot of trust that's been broken. So that's where I'm at now. Stuck in a home that feels less and less like mine, trying to hold on to the few memories I have left of my dad, and hoping that somehow things will get better. But deep down, I know I need to start making plans, start figuring out a way to get out and get on with my life. Because this isn't living. This is just surviving day by day, in a house that's filled with tension and secrets. Alright, so after the whole blow up about the house selling thing, you'd think Derek might lay low, but nah, that's not his style. Instead, things just ramped up more. It's like he's got something to prove, and I'm the punching bag he's picked to take it out on. Here's the lowdown on how everything spiraled even further. A couple of weeks after the email incident, Derek starts pushing for these family bonding activities. He's all about showing my mom he's this great unifier, right? So he sets up this big dinner, everyone's invited, even some of his extended family. It's supposed to be this big happy gathering, but the vibes are all off. His family's all right, I guess, but there's this undercurrent, like everyone's trying too hard to show how great everything is. During dinner, Derek keeps putting me on the spot, asking me about school and my plans for the future, stuff he never cared about before. It feels like he's setting me up, waiting for me to slip up so he can point out how I'm not living up to expectations or something. I play it cool, give him the answers he's looking for, but it's tense, man, really tense. After the guests leave, my mom pulls me aside. She's been noticing things, finally seeing how Derek's been treating me. We have this heart-to-heart, and I lay it all out for her, how I feel like Derek's trying to push me out, how it's been ever since he moved in. She listens, really listens, and I can see it's hitting her hard. She promises things are going to change, that she's going to talk to Derek, set some boundaries. I'm not holding my breath, but it's nice to see her stepping up. But here's the kicker. Things with Derek go from bad to downright ugly. The next day, he corners me when I'm coming out of my room. He's all calm and collected, too calm. He tells me he knows I've been talking to my mom, stirring up trouble. He warns me to back off, says it's for my own good. The veiled threats, the cold look in his eyes. I've never seen him like this before. I'm rattled, not gonna lie. I keep my cool, tell him I don't know what he's talking about, but inside, I'm freaking out. This guy's not just a jerk, he's manipulative, dangerous even. I avoid him after that, keep to my room, try to stay under the radar. A few days later, things come to a head. I'm home alone, just chilling, when Derek comes back early from work. He doesn't see me at first. I hear him on the phone, talking loud and angry. He's arguing with someone about money, about needing more time. He sounds desperate, nothing like the composed guy he plays in front of my mom. I stay out of sight, but I listen, trying to piece together what's going on. It sounds like he's in deep, owes money or something, and it's coming due. He ends the call, slams something down, and I realize this guy's got problems, serious problems, and he's brought them right into our home. That evening, I tell my mom what I heard. I can see the worry on her face, the realization that Derek's not who she thought he was. She's scared, I can tell, but she's also angry that he's brought this danger to our doorstep. She decides then and there that she's going to confront him, ask him straight up what's going on. The confrontation is intense. I hear them in the kitchen, voices raised. Derek's defensive, trying to brush it all off as a misunderstanding, but my mom's not buying it. She's got this strength I haven't seen in her in a long time. She tells him she won't tolerate lies, won't let him endanger us with whatever mess he's in. Derek tries to smooth talk his way out of it, but she's firm, tells him he needs to sort himself out, or he's out. The next few days are awkward as hell. Derek's on thin ice and he knows it. My mom's watching him like a hawk, and I'm just trying to stay out of the way, keep my head down. But there's this tension in the air, like a storm waiting to break. It's quiet, too quiet. Then one evening it all comes crashing down. Derek's gone for most of the day, comes back late, looking a mess. My mom confronts him again, this time about where he's been, about the lies and the secrecy. It gets heated, and then all of a sudden, Derek snaps. He starts yelling, saying he's had enough, that he's not going to be treated like a criminal in his own home. It's chaos. I step in, try to calm things down, but it's no use. Derek's lost it, saying he's leaving, that we'll regret ever doubting him. He packs some stuff, throws it in his car, and just like that, he's gone. The aftermath is surreal. My mom's in shock, trying to process everything. I'm just relieved he's gone, but there's this guilt too. Like maybe we pushed him too far. But deep down, I know it's better this way. Better than living with the constant tension, the threats, the lies. So now it's just me and my mom, trying to pick up the pieces, trying to rebuild something out of the wreckage Derek left behind. It's not going to be easy, but for the first time in a long time, it feels like we can breathe again, like we can make this house a home again. Thanks for sticking with me through this. It's been one hell of a ride, but I hope, the worst is behind us. So last week Derek came back and he convinced my mom that all his problems are gone and he just needed some time to clear his mind, and my mom took him in. Of course I was mad, but I couldn't say anything. Yesterday, Derek and I finally had it out. My mom was working late and my step-siblings were out with their friends, so it was just me and Derek at home. I didn't want to be alone with him, so I made plans with some friends and was getting ready to leave when Derek started yelling about how he wasn't my maid and wasn't going to do my dishes. I tried to keep it cool and told him I'd take care of them when I got back, but he insisted that it was my responsibility and I needed to do it now. In our house, everyone does their own dishes, and I really was planning to do them as soon as I got back, but he kept shouting and I lost my temper. We ended up screaming at each other and I cursed at him. Then out of nowhere, he accused me of sticking around just to get my mom to leave me all the stuff my dad had left behind. I was shocked. I didn't see that coming at all. He went on about how my mom had finally realized that I was just playing nice because I wanted her to leave everything to me instead of Derek and his kids. He claimed that even though I wasn't happy about my mom being with him, I was being polite to him because I wanted her to leave all that stuff to me. That's when I figured out that my mom must have lied to him, telling him that my dad had left her everything when in reality it was all mine. That explained why Derek had been acting so spiteful toward me. I guess my mom didn't want him to know that my dad hadn't left her much, just a bit of cash. When he accused me of this, I just laughed and told him the truth, and he turned pale. At first, he didn't believe me, but when I stopped laughing, he realized I was serious. I left the house after that, and he didn't say anything more. It was so stressful that I decided not to go home at all. I stayed at a friend's place, and just like I expected, my mom called me at midnight. She was furious, yelling at me for telling Derek the truth about the inheritance. I was really angry. I told her she had no reason to lie to him because she knew all the property was legally mine and that she was left with nothing. I said she was letting Derek treat me like crap because she was jealous that my dad left me everything. She tried to explain that she had been planning to talk to me later because her business had been struggling for the last few years, and my dad knew that, but he never offered to help. She also mentioned that my dad didn't like Derek, and she wanted to be with a man he didn't approve of. She claimed she hadn't noticed how Derek had been treating me because she was too distracted. But I didn't buy it. I told her I might have considered sharing the property with her if she'd been honest with me earlier, but now I thought my dad was right to leave everything to me. I didn't believe she didn't see how Derek was treating me, especially since I had been telling her for years that he was awful to me. I told her I thought the reason she hadn't said anything to Derek about his behavior was that she was afraid of losing him if she told him the truth. I figured she still cared about me, but only because it wouldn't look good socially if she kicked me out. Now, after finding out about the inheritance, she needed me around for the money. She told me to come home immediately, but I said I wasn't going back. I had already decided to leave as soon as I could. I didn't know where I'd go, but anywhere was better than living with my mom. I hung up on her and blocked her. But this morning, I woke up to a text from her, apologizing and saying she loves me and wants to keep me in her life. She asked me to come home so we could talk things over, saying that we both said a lot of hurtful things last night that we didn't mean. But I'm not so sure I didn't mean what I said, and now I feel like a terrible person for even thinking it. But honestly, I think the only reason my mom wants me to come back is that she needs the money. Would I be the a-hole if I decided not to talk to my mom? Update 1. Hey everyone, before I get into anything else, there are a few things I need to clear up. Some of you asked why I didn't just move in with other family members if I didn't want Derek living with us. The truth is, I wanted to support my mom. After losing my dad, I didn't want to lose her too. Besides the stuff with Derek, my mom and I didn't have a bad relationship. She didn't know what was going on, and things have only gotten this bad recently. Plus, my life is here, and my other relatives live far away. My grandma's sisters aren't even in the country, so moving out wasn't really an option even if I wanted to. Some of you were also curious about my parents' living situation. To clarify, my parents lived together, but they weren't a couple. They were just co-parenting me. I guess it was weird for most people, which is why their relationships didn't last long, at least until Derek came into the picture. Like a lot of you, people my parents dated didn't really understand the setup, since my parents were still living with each other and raising a child together. Eventually, my dad stopped dating, and my mom ended up with Derek. My dad would just stay in his room, and my mom had hers on the other side of the house, so it wasn't really a problem when Derek came over. I don't know if my dad still had feelings for my mom after they broke up. If he did, he hid it well, because to me, they were just friends until I was about 13 and realized they'd never get back together. Maybe he did still have feelings, maybe not. I honestly don't know, and it doesn't matter now. I talked to my dad's lawyer about the fallout with my mom. I also spoke to my grandparents on both sides, and they agreed that my mom's behavior towards me was out of line and that she should be ashamed. When they asked if I still wanted to stay with her, I said no. I'm staying with a friend for now while my grandparents fly in to help sort things out. My mom's been trying to see me every day this past week, but I haven't agreed to it. Honestly, I'm just too confused right now and don't know what her true intentions are anymore. She's been messaging me on social media from different accounts, but I'm pretty sure she's still with Derek and that they're both living in our house. I'm not going to believe anything she says until Derek is gone. Call me stubborn or whatever, but I just don't care anymore. I have to look out for myself now. I'm going to stay put until my grandparents get here so we can figure this all out together. They're out of state, and since I still need to go to school and don't want to move, I can't leave right now. I'm thinking about suggesting living on my own, but I don't know if they'll be okay with that. I have no idea what's going to happen, so I'm just hoping for the best. Update 2. Hey everyone. My grandparents flew in yesterday and took me to see the hotel where they're staying while we figure things out. My mom was there too since she's still technically responsible for me. I'm still too young for them to seriously consider my idea of living alone, so that got shut down pretty quickly. My mom kept trying to get me to come back home with her, but I made it clear that I wasn't interested in working things out as long as Derek was still around. I told her the only way she could prove she had no hidden agenda was by kicking Derek and his kids out. If she couldn't do that, then we had nothing to talk about. She tried to argue, but she didn't want my grandparents stepping in, so she backed off. They suggested I move in with them, but neither my mom nor I were ready to give up custody just yet. No one really knew what to do. I kept telling my grandparents that I'd go back home with my mom if Derek wasn't there. They asked if I'd be willing to work things out with my mom over time, and then checked with her to see if she thought that was a fair solution. She said she'd figure out a way to make it work. Honestly, I'm surprised she agreed to it too, but I still don't know what's going to happen in the long run. For now, I'm staying at the hotel with my grandparents while my mom went home to talk to Derek. I really hope things go well, but I have no idea what to expect. My mom asked us to give her a few days to sort things out, so that's what we're doing. She doesn't know what's going to happen either. All I can do now is hope for the best. I really want to keep my family together. Update 3. Hey everyone, I went back home yesterday, and it's been a week since my last update. So my mom and Derek are getting divorced. She told us that when she went home that day, she tried to explain to Derek that she couldn't come back while he was still there. It made sense because I didn't want to be mistreated by him like before. She asked him to leave for a few weeks so we could try to work things out, but they had already been having problems. Derek was furious when I told him the truth about the property, and he felt betrayed, thinking he couldn't trust her anymore. Things were already tense, so when she suggested a break, he lost it and decided to file for divorce. Luckily, they hadn't been married long, and their finances were mostly separate, so he doesn't have much claim to anything. My mom apologized for everything. She admitted she had been a terrible person for letting Derek treat me the way he did, and she realized she had overreacted when she found out about my dad's will. She promised to be a better mom, and I'm going to hold her to that. If she doesn't follow through, I'm serious about leaving for good and applying for emancipation. I think I'm making the right choice by giving her another chance, even though I know some people might disagree. But it's my life, and if I'm wrong, that's my mistake to make. I'm going with my gut because I don't want to look back and regret not trying. Plus, she seems genuinely sorry, and I don't think she'll get back together with Derek now that she's seen his true colors. She doesn't even seem worried about the divorce. Her main concern is making sure I'm okay. We'll see how things go, but for now, I'm cautiously optimistic. Update 4. Hey everyone, it's been a while, 3 years to be exact. I wanted to give you all the update you've been waiting for about my mom. Turns out, she wasn't doing it for the land. She genuinely regretted her actions, and I know this because, despite some bumps along the way, she managed to turn her business around. In fact, she's now paying for my college education. I told her she didn't have to, but she said it was the least she could do after everything that happened since the divorce. She hasn't spoken to Derek or even mentioned him. She handled the divorce on her own terms, so she didn't need to. He just got a small settlement. My mom and I have been working hard to repair our relationship, and so far, it's going really well. Our mother-daughter bond is stronger than ever, and we try to do something fun whenever we visit family. I'm really happy with how things have turned out. It could have easily gone the other way, but I'm glad my mom took responsibility and made positive changes when given another chance. I don't regret giving her that opportunity at all.